Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for doing this show with me on a Monday because I have to go to Baguio tomorrow, so it's a good thing we're doing this today.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
So you guys
I
want anything
like
from
doing
Baguio?
this.
You want anything from
Yeah,
Baguio?
what's
Hey,
the?
give me something from Sagada. I'm not allowed to mention it, but get me something from there
I think I know what you mean.
that I'll really appreciate. I would like a plant.
I know what you're talking
It's an
about.
orchid. It's a special type of orchid. It's grown organically.
Yeah.
It's hard to grow if there's too much sunlight. But anyways, that's what I want. Forgot the name of it.
I think I know what he's talking about anyway. But we are doing a special today, folks, on the 42nd anniversary of the PBA. Yes. Now, of course, we all know that yesterday, during that the Manila Classico that we had over the Mall of Asia Arena, was actually the 42nd birthday of the PBA. On April 9, 1975, the PBA had its first ever game, and we celebrated that yesterday with fans getting pizza and shawarma and all sorts of other stuff there at the Mall of Asia Arena, and we relived a lot of memories there as well. We saw some vintage clips, and some of those clips actually involving you two gentlemen.
Is that right? I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Really?
Yeah, there were a few there of Alaska. You were in an Alaska uniform.
Alaska. Oh.
You were in an Alaska uniform
Good
also
old
at
days.
the time.
Good old days.
Memories.
Yeah, how many championships did you guys win with Alaska?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one. So that must have been what they were talking about. So
Yeah.
Sorry, I won too.
you won two.
Yeah, he won two.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well,
We won
tournament.
one together.
Tournament
and then
championship.
You won 6 over at six.
Five.
Yeah.
Five at talking.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at right now. We're going to go rewind the clock, especially with our two guests right here. Guests meaning that when the PBA started, you were either not around yet as human beings.
No, I was born
1975.
1975.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it before or after April?
Well, before April.
Before April.
Yeah.
So
before
you
April.
were a little older than the PBA.
I'm a little bit older than the PBA.
And Don was not yet a human being at the time.
No.
Yeah,
No.
so we're going to rewind the clock right now for you two gentlemen. But you also grew up in the States. I mean, you did, Ali.
I did.
I know you've been shuttling back and forth from the States to Manila, but of course you are more famous after your college days when you actually became a professional basketball player. So let's go to that part where you were in the United States and you were being told these stories about the PBA. Now, I'll start with you.
Okay, yeah. Let me start with me because Ali's gonna take forever. When I
with
heard about
your multicolored socks.
Oh,
Stripes. Go ahead.
That's a
Nice,
fashion
though.
statement.
When I heard about the PBA,
Doesn't match.
first heard about the PBA from my dad. My dad, of course, we grew up here in the Philippines, but then we went to the States when I was very young. So then I was playing ball in the States, and he told me about the PBA afterwards, trying to teach me moves and stuff like that on a basketball court. And he told me he played amateur, he played for college, and then
He played for UP, my school.
Yeah, he played UP,
Yeah.
and then he played for Mika, is what they called it
Wow.
at that time.
Okay, I did not
That's
know
right,
that
that's
about
right,
you,
that's right.
about
Yeah,
Kaloy
so-
Aliado.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So he played there, and then afterwards his dad made him choose, like, hey, what do you want to do, play ball or go to studies? My dad said, okay, fine, I'll study. So
Interesting.
then here, I played in the PBA after my college at LaSalle. That's how I heard about it.
Okay, so and you, of course, you were born and raised in
Yeah, I
the
was
U.S.
born
and
in
then
yeah.
you suddenly realized that, hey, I could actually play in the PBA. But when did you
Well,
first?
I didn't
know?
realize. No, I didn't know that. I found out about the PBA in 1988, and it was one of my uncles that actually my grandfather's cousin.
Yeah.
So
okay.
my grandfather was the one who told me about.
Rest in peace.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was the one that told me about the PBA, and then he told me about this man that's 50 years old that is still playing in the PBA. I said, "You've got to be kidding! Who is this guy?" He said, "Well, his name is Robert Jaworski.
Okay.
Sonny Jaworski. He's a legend. He's a legend." And I remember I was only about 13 years old at the time. Of course, a kid growing up in the States, and basketball wasn't global yet. You know, the dream team hadn't been put together, so basketball hadn't hit, well, NBA hadn't hit the globe.
Right, right.
So any kid that was growing up in the United States at that time didn't really pay attention to too much international ball. Matter of fact, Vlade Divac hadn't even come to the NBA yet.
That's true.
And he was a pioneer, right? So I was thinking, nah, if I'm good enough, I want to play in the NBA. But it wasn't until I got to the end of my college career.
You realize,
And
like, damn,
yeah, no.
I'm only
Well,
for the PBA.
first of all, well, I mean, well, let's not take anything away from this league that we used to play in. But it's always an alternative, and it was definitely an alternative for me.
Yeah.
But I just remember my college coach was the one that helped me go. He said, when I was an import, and when I was a player, when I was an import, I played with Americans that had lineage in the country that I was playing for. Your mother's from the Philippines, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if we can get you a job playing in your mother's country. And that's how it all started. I said, what? You know, I didn't know about that stuff. The closest to Asian basketball I ever came to was the Jones Cup in 1994,
Right.
where we represented our school. We won the tournament, and that was in Taiwan. That was in Taipei. That was the closest I came to Asian basketball.
Right.
So what was the best memory you had what was the best thing aside in basketball that happened to you here, aside from meeting me?
Aside from meeting you, I think.
Okay.
No, go ahead. What was it?
Oh boy, there's so many memories,
Okay,
man.
so
I
we'll go
can't
back
really
to that
point.
then.
I really can't
we are
put a
gonna go
point.
back to that.
Pinpoint that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that it's interesting. I'm learning a lot right now in the first 5 minutes of the show. I didn't know your dad actually played in the Mika.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that it was your grandfather who actually
My grandfather's cousin.
grandfather's cousin
Yeah.
who actually
Lolo also.
brought it up to you. So there's one common denominator for all of those the Philams, if you will, or these kids who are Filipino lineage growing up in America that eventually play here. There is usually an import that shows them the way. In the case of many, it was one of your former Alaska friends, Sean Chambers, who would actually open doors for a lot of people. Did you actually get to meet Sean Chambers before you went to the country, or did you meet him after the PBA?
I met him in the P. Well, I never met him in the P. I met him until when the first time we became teammates.
Yeah,
that was
that's right.
2001.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the first time I really got a chance to be in close quarters with Sean Chambers. But I had met him previously in my career in the 98, 99. And we would talk occasionally, see each other at the club, whatever, and I would just ask him for tips.
You said club.
Yeah. I went out. Yeah, I went out.
What type of club is this? Just to be
Do you
sure.
remember Mars?
No.
I remember Mars.
Yeah, I remember Mars because he used to sell glow sticks in the club.
Oh, was that him?
That was you with the strobe light globe sticks.
No,
I
that
don't.
wasn't-
Come on, man.
no,
Come on,
no,
like
that wasn't-
don't get corny. Come on, let's go, man. Let's go. Go ahead. Go. What's
Yeah,
the
no,
next
I was
question?
just
What's
saying-
the next question?
No, the thing is, I was just saying that Sean Chambers brought the PBA to a lot of youngsters back.
For
in the
me, it
United
was
States.
Norman
Yeah.
Black.
Oh, Norman
Yeah,
Black.
he was the one who
That's
recruited me,
interesting.
yeah.
He was
Yeah.
your first coach over in
First coach
98.
at Pop Cola. He was the
Yeah.
one he flew out. He worked me out. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Did you
He
guys know how
drafted me.
Norman Black actually got his start in the PBA?
No, I didn't.
Well, Norman Black was actually recruited as an import in 1981. 81.
Okay, yeah.
So he started playing the PBA in 1981 by then assistant coach of this team called Tefillin, June Bernardino, who eventually became the commissioner.
Wow, I didn't know
of
that.
the PBA.
That's crazy.
So he brought in Norman Black, and Norman Black had actually played in several teams before joining San Miguel. He actually won a couple of, I think he won one championship with great taste, and that was a classic duo.
Yeah.
Norman Black versus Billy Ray Bates.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
I mean, Norman Black, one of the best imports ever, and Billy Ray Bates, one of the most explosive imports
yeah,
ever.
for sure,
Great
for
Taste
sure.
won that
Yeah.
series as well. So
They
that was
called
just
him Black Superman.
the Black Superman,
Superman,
right,
yeah.
at the time. So
Black.
we're going to be sharing a lot of our memories of the PBA, but it's great to have these two because they were actually in the trenches. I spent my life broadcasting you guys. I actually broadcasted your first games ever because you came in the PBA 99, you came in the PBA 98.
Yeah.
I actually did both of your games. And just to refresh, when you got into the PBA, was there like a welcome to the PBA that happened to you? I mean, you were stars in your own right. You were like Mr. All UAAP
if
at the
anything,
time.
it was him.
And you
Hell
were
yeah.
like you're a lottery pick. So
I was a
when
lottery
you came,
pick,
yeah.
but-
When you came in, was there like a boom? Welcome to the PBA,
You go first.
kid.
You go first.
Okay, it's something that happened to me during the game. Like
During
that?
the game, or even
Okay, when I
even
first-
in the locker room
my
with
first-
Alaska.
No, tell me
my-
about the Bong Hawkins thing.
Let me let me tell you about my first game in the pros. Okay, I was playing for Alaska. This was back in 1999. We just won the championship for De La Salle University, so I went straight to the pros in November. My first game was against Tanduay, where they had Eric Mank, they had Sonny Alvarado,
Yeah.
all of those cats there. They even had Rudy Hatfield.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
and
big.
Pido Horencio was there.
Was
right?
it Jeffrey Carriazo in that
Jeffrey
team?
Carriazo was there.
Don Ontiveros?
He was there as well.
Yeah, there you go.
So my first game I check in off the bench, Coach Tim Cohn, I wasn't even sure he was going to put me in. I only had 3 days practice with Alaska. So I'm like, I'm surprised at the end of the bench. He calls my name. I'm like, holy
Go.
crap. Okay. And then he calls me. So I go to the table, check in, boom. I punch in. I clock into I clock into the game. First play of the game. Fudge. Pido Horencio just runs past me and gives me the sickest, meanest elbow right to my gut. And
Yeah.
I'm just holding myself half court.
Did he
holding
give you the
myself
welcome to the PBA look?
half court like this, like a crying
You let him do that to
baby.
you?
Hey, that's Pido Horencio.
And that's a Pido Horencio.
Was he
And-
your teammate?
And I was like, yeah,
I've hit Pito a few
I-
times.
I don't care about you. I'm only 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'm only
6'5".
Pido Horencio is a grown
230
ass.
pounds.
I know.
He's a grown ass man.
He's a little
okay?
guy.
He's a grown ass man. Let me finish my story, dick. He's a grown ass man. Okay, he hits me, and I'm all like curling like this, like a
Yeah.
ball, almost about to cry. I'm like, oh my god, this dude just hit me, and he knocked the wind. He knocked
Tim
my
Cohn
soul
say?
out.
What did Tim Cohn say? Get up.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It just went on to the next play.
Right. So that was your welcome to the PBA.
That was my welcome to the.
What
PBA.
I heard about this Bong Hawkins incident for a long time
Well,
when Bong Hawkins
In practice.
in practice.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy. Bong Hawkins is by far, for me, the best power forward that I've come across
Mm-hmm.
as a local. I've learned so much from that guy just by guarding him and watching him,
Right.
the way he does things. So, I'm a rookie. I'm fast. I'm very aggressive, very excited. And Bong did it. Bong's like, he thought I was a pesky defender,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was quick. I was able to keep up with him at times. Then all of a sudden, at one of the times in practice, it's a box out drill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Tim Cohn yanks up a shot. He yanks it up. Boom. Bounces off the rim. Play was all right before somebody caught it. Boom. And it was out of my reach already and Bong's reach. Okay, it was on the other side. All of a sudden, Bong was like this, and boom, knocks me, gives me a shiner. I mean, it was
Oh,
a
wow.
clear shiner towards the
Wow.
end of practice.
Wow.
That was, I'm like, oh.
That was
man.
your welcome to that was welcome to Alaska.
That was Welcome to Alaska with
Yeah.
Bong Hawkins.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
He
I'm
just
like,
shows you, hey kid, you got a long ways to go
Yeah.
before you get my job, right?
Yep. That was just, for me, that was like, oh my God, thank you.
All right. Ollie Peak, a lottery pick in 1998, and very few people had heard about you coming in, and then they see this hulking figure in a Pop Cola uniform. You know, you're running up and down the floor. Did you even start? I don't remember if you started your first game or if you came
I
off
did.
the
I
bench.
started.
You
I started.
you
I
started the first game.
started
Then
majority
you,
of the season.
You shot an air ball.
I shot a 3-point shot
I know.
because the shot clock was winding down. I thought the shot clock was winding
was
down.
not.
It wasn't. And I see Coach Norman on the sideline going, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's hot in here," because I'm not used to the heat. But
Right,
for me, the wake-up call was, you go up against San Miguel Beer. And I just remember I wanted to go up against Daniel DeFonso so bad because he was the #1 pick. I wanted to see how good he was. And, I was stronger than Danny. I was stronger than Nelson. But the
You
one
were
thing
stronger than a lot of guys.
the one thing that they had me on was, back then they went by the NBA illegal defense rules.
Right.
So if you can't guard somebody on the post or out on the wing laterally, they're going to keep going at you. They're going to keep going at you until you figure out a way to stop, or coach takes you out and you sit next to him on the bench. Through that stretch in the fourth quarter, they kept isolating me. And I said, oh, man, I'm in trouble here. And I just realized this is an aspect of my game I'm going to have to work on. And it was kind of a humbling experience.
So Daniel DeFonso schooled you.
I think
A rookie
He may
school-
not.
schooled a fellow rookie.
But I mean, how they headline. I mean, they headlined us. They wanted the #1 versus #2, brand new Pop
Yeah,
Cola team
yeah.
versus the #1 pick going to San Miguel Beer, right?
Right.
So for me, it was in the back of my mind throughout my whole career. Like when people ask me who was the most challenging for you, or if there was someone that you feared, it was Daniel DeFonso for me. because he would make plays.
But there were a lot of other players who were older.
How'd you do
than-
though?
than-
How'd you
than
do
Danny.
against him?
Well, most of the time, we would always lose to Daniel Alfonso and San Miguel Beer.
No, I mean individual. I mean, did you were able to
Individual-
stop him?
Well,
he
no,
score 30 on
I'd
you?
have my stats. He would have his stats, but then he would do something new. And you know about this. Like, he would throw a behind the back pass, or he would knock down a three-point shot. He hasn't taken a three-point shot in the last 3 or 4 games. And he would take that shot all night long to
you'd be like-
help.
you'd
Yeah,
be-
I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it was him. And
But there were a lot of older guys who would have welcomed you in the PBA. I mean,
I never,
we're talking about
I
guys
never,
like
you know
Paul
what?
Hawkins. Yeah.
I never had that problem.
Okay.
I never did. I never had a problem with any one of those guys.
So none of the older
You-
guys,
you know
not
what?
even
Never,
Aussie,
never.
say, hey,
Aussie
hey,
came
youngster.
in. Aussie
Yeah.
came in a year after I came in.
Oh, that's right.
Even
that's
though
right.
he's older than I am, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never. No one's ever
Who
challenged
would,
me.
in
like
their right mind, look at you, man. Who in their right mind would pick on you? Seriously.
that. Don, we're only 20 pounds difference, man.
No, we're not 20
and you're
pounds.
taller than I am. You
We're
let
not
some
20
little
pounds. You were
guard
260.
clock
Well,
you.
we're talking about when you guys were like 21. How old were you then? 22?
I was 22.
I was 21.
22?
20
See that?
fresh.
22, incredible Hulk type of guy. I'm sure some of the big guys, bigger guys, were saying, "Hey, I want a piece of this kid. I want to welcome him to the PBA." Did you get any of those?
I never got. The only person that ever, my rookie, okay, my
Why would
all
they?
Filipino, the only person that ever, okay, he hit me in the face thinking that it would, because I was always told, even in the PBL,
Yeah.
don't react.
Mm-hmm.
Don't react. So, or if the referee's not looking, hit him back. You
Right.
know, so or resort to their own tactics. I remember.
Trying to
I
remember who your PBL coach
No,
was.
It was Ed Cordero and
Okay.
a guy by the name of Ted Magno. Ed Cordero was the one telling me not to react. And then I had a teammate named Alan Yu who eventually played
Alan.
Oh,
in
wow,
the
that's a
PBA.
blast
Oh, my
from the
He played
goodness.
for Santa Lucia and Tanduay.
Yeah.
And he was the one who said, hey, when they're not look, if they, I said, hey, he goes, you okay? This is in the PBL. He goes, you okay? I go, yeah, man. He punched me in the nuts. And I said, he goes, okay, when they're not looking, when the ref's not looking, punch him back.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get a clear shot.
Yeah.
I might miss, so.
And you might get caught too.
I grabbed his balls, man. I went in there, got back out, yeah. But I mean, so when I got in, so
I'm hearing this for the first
well, no,
time.
when I got to the PBA, man, Jay Mendoza.
Oh, there you go. There's an old dude.
We're fraternity brothers now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But Jay Mendoza was the guy. He's the first guy to ever just try to punch me in the face or slap me in the face while I'm running on offense.
While I'm running on offense,
he snuck in a punch to the face.
Yeah.
But he realized through the course of the game, I wasn't going to react to it.
Yeah.
And
who was the unfortunate dude that you massacred in the PBL? You remember him? You remember his name?
no, he's from Cebu.
Oh, there's a
He
lot of them.
Yeah, it happened in a tournament in Cebu. And
Oh,
you know
in
how it
Cebu,
is.
yeah, the
you
PBL
know,
Invitational.
yeah. So,
Wow.
But I mean, I went up to him after the game. I said, hey, what's your problem? And he said, no, it's part of the game. I said, all right, okay. And that was it.
Okay. Now, because I really clearly remembered Ali Peak in 1998 as a rookie. This was Pop Cola versus Mobiline. I was doing this game in Legazpi City, where Gabi Kui, you know Gabi Kui. Gabi Kui gives you something. I didn't even see what happened. I just saw Ali Peak. Here's the story here. I saw Ali Peak being restrained by 3 referees, 5 teammates, and 2 more teammates of Gabi Kui over at Mobiline. And Ali Peak was just still moving forward.
Yeah, that's not enough.
And Gabi Kui's on the ground, and Gabi was telling me later on, my entire life flashed before my eyes.
What happened there, man?
Well, yeah, tell me about that, man. I mean, that's the stuff of legends.
That was just one. That night, we were just trash talking, and we were elbowing each other. And I just remember I was even trash talking. I was also up against the Talking Tex fans.
Yeah. Mobiline at the time.
I think Jerome got pissed off. You know Jerome
Hercido, yeah.
She got pissed. He got pissed off during the game because I grabbed one of the banners.
So it was one of those days where you were losing it.
I was. It was hot.
Oh, there you go again. Do not put him in a hot gym.
It was hot as hell in that gym, but I mean, we had already been on some sort of losing streak. It was just a really rough It was a rough conference.
Right.
Yeah, but Gabby, I love Gabby. I see
Yeah.
Gabby every once in a while, you know, in those,
I'm
smart
sure that,
tournaments.
yeah, I'm sure that sticks in his
Yeah,
mind all
yeah.
the time. He almost
Yeah,
got
I mean,
killed
yeah,
You grabbed his
in
nuts too.
Bicol.
That was 17 years ago. No, he elbowed me in the back of the head. That's why I got
There you
upset.
go. Imagine
But-
that, man. 3 referees, 5 teammates, 2 more teammates, and he's still moving forward. You know, it's like a linebacker or
Come on, the
something like that.
referees in the PBA are really
All right.
small guys.
Let's turn the question around, though. Who were your idols coming in? When you saw this guy play, you said, oh, wow, he's good. I want to be like him, Don.
Jun Limpot.
Jun Limpot, that's a
Yeah.
good one. He's from LaSalle, too.
He's from LaSalle. He had some. Of course, he was a back-to-back MVP. I was also back-to-back MVP, but I didn't stay for my 5th year. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of comparisons, and when I got to the PBA, when I was able to, you know, finally play him,
Right.
You know, it was a exciting moment for me. But then, you know, at
You were
the
still
end
with
of the
Santa
day,
Lucia at the
at the
time,
end of the
yeah.
day, yeah, at the end of the day, you're here competing and you're trying to beat him.
Right.
So that was something that's I took it.
What did
upon
you
as a
like about
challenge.
Jun Limpot's game? You were, you know,
Versatility.
You may think that you're similar, but you're actually more of the power guy than
I am
than
a
Jun
more
Limpot was.
in college. I'm the more power guy. It's only till the pros I became somewhat of a finesse player as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and developed my shooting. Everything in college was just a hook shot or a dunk or a follow-up dunk, you know, things like that. But I really honed my skill, my shooting, into the professional ranks, which Jun Limpot was already versatile and he
Oh,
had
yeah.
some shooting
He had a
in
6-year
college.
yeah, he had a
So it's like
6-year
you
head
hear
start.
about that. I'm a college kid. I heard about, you know, I hear about Jun Limpot and you know, he's the great Jun Limpot, the MVP, the this and that, and all of a sudden, you know, I started getting my MVP trophies. I started getting all the accolades. I started winning all the awards that I could ever win in the pros. And then, you know, you got all these people, oh, you're the best, you're the #1, the King Archer forever,
Oh,
solid
yeah, you mean the
MVP,
amateur ranks,
blah, blah,
rather. Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
And, you know, you just can't help but think, like, hey, I want to put myself against the best. Jun Limpot was the best center for De La Salle University. So, you know, it's only natural you want to always compete.
Right.
You know, that fire, you know, I want to be the best.
Right.
it.
So Jun Limpot was your first idol. How about you? When you came into the PBA, of course, Norman Black already told you about the guys that you need to look out for when you go up against them. Who was your first idol? Who was the first guy you say, wow, who is this dude? He's good.
I didn't have anybody.
That's interesting,
I'll
too.
be honest with you because I was out there competing. Like I remember we were in the Bay Area and Coach Norman Black just got through working me out. He said, if we can get you at number 3, we have the number 3 pick, we can get you at number 3, then we're going to go ahead and get you.
Right.
But I just want to know one thing. How do you think you expect to play in the PBA? I said, I expect to play very well. And then he said, how well do you expect to play? I said, I want to be an all-star. And I remember being in the PBL. I mean, if there's one person two people I'd have to pick. I was in the PBL playing for AMA, and I was just sitting there. I went to my first ever PBA game, and it was Mobile Line versus Shell. Benji Paras just got honored for getting a certain amount of rebounds, right? And I said, wow.
2000, yeah.
And I remember looking at Benji Paras, and I said, wow, if I can accomplish something like that, that'd be great. And then the next game, Shell won that game, but the next game was San Miguel Beer against Sunkiss. And that was the first time I took a look at Berhel Meneses. But then I see this one guy just crossing people up, shooting 3-point shots. He's big. It's Nelson.
Nelson Saitono,
And
yeah.
I said, man, this guy, he's not just an inside player. He's doing everything a guard does. And back
Right.
then, you didn't have, you
6'3"
can argue,
guard.
You can argue that,
Yeah.
you can argue that Nelson Saitono in this time, in this day and age, would be a stretch 4. You can argue that.
yeah.
He had the power, he had the size, but he can also take you off the dribble.
Yeah, but he was only
cross you over.
6'3" as well, so that sizes some guards today, too.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, for his size.
I don't know if this is true, but there's stories, legend has it, and I've heard from a couple people, the basketball historians, before how he got his strength was he used to work at the pier or picking up rice sacks.
Nelson Saitono.
Nelson
That'll
Saitono.
get you strong.
Yeah, that
gets
could.
you
Yeah.
really strong.
He's actually born and raised in Mindoro, so that's a port province.
there you
So
go.
Yeah.
There
maybe.
you go.
And he was bringing sacks, doubling sacks of rice, and just throwing
Hey,
it
same thing with Manny Pacquiao. Look at him.
like a legend. Legend has it.
He's not 6'3" though, but yeah, I get you with the Nelson Asaitona thing.
I saw those. Okay, I saw those guys, and I saw Benji. I saw Nelson. I said, if I can be just as good as them, or if I can come in, but the thing in my mind, and I think any 21-year-old young, hungry lion is thinking the same thing. Because if they're not thinking that, then there's something wrong with them.
Right.
I want to beat them. That was my mindset. So every time I stepped on the court with these legends or whatever, these people,
The elite
I had
guys at the time,
I was going out there trying to beat them. And
Right.
if I didn't beat them that day, I was trying to figure out ways to be like Nelson and I became teammates. So I was always watching Nelson. And just when Nelson started to slow down a little bit, that's when I started to take advantage of him. I think it's our response. I think it's any young up-and-coming player's responsibility, especially a lottery pick, to try and beat the guy that's in front of you. It's your responsibility to do that.
Right.
Because at some point, you're the one who's going to be representing this Philippine Basketball Association.
And that's of course in your mind as a young player.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean any offense to it. I got into little scuffles with some of these superstars at the time, but I wanted to beat them. Jerry Cordonero was another guy because I loved Jerry Cordonero's footwork and his position.
And his elbow too.
I said, wow, like he never, I never experienced
Not so
any
much his
elbows
elbow,
from
but his footwork and his defense.
Right. So did you cheer for any team as a fan? I mean, you were players
No,
already.
nope,
you
no,
know?
nope,
You were
no,
just-
I-
You
no.
loved Alaska right off the bat. You loved Pop Cola right off the bat.
I didn't care what team I was playing. I just wanted
Right.
to go out there.
We
and
love money.
Play well. That's him. That's him.
What we love, money.
him, yeah.
Whether that be on a team that pays us, then that's the team that we love.
All right, describe your favorite moment. I mean, in the PBA, your favorite and your worst moment. Let's start off with your favorite moment in the PBA. Was it when you got your career high? Was it when you won your first championship? What was it? Was there a particular game you remember you were flirting with a triple-double and you just missed it? What was it like? What's your thrill moment in the PBA as a player?
Thrill moment was probably one of the best. I mean, obviously it's the first championship that you win, but it was a bit. Wouldn't you say that tournament championship that we won? You won one. You won a solid one, because our peers are what do you call it? Are the people opposite us. The
It
guys.
don't matter
that
what
are-
they say. It's still a chip. We got a ring.
Yeah, but I mean,
So anyway,
the people around you, the people that you compete against during that time will tell you, man, that's not a real championship because
My ass is
it's
not
a
a real
seven-
championship.
it's
We
a
got
7-game
paid.
Fine, it's a 7-game. You didn't play a 7-game series.
Oh, okay.
We played a 3-game series, and it wasn't even a conference. It was a 2-week tournament. So in my mind, I'm not going to be solidified until we get into a
real
7-game.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I was able to do that, and Talking Tex was able to do that in that run that we had, that was each and every one of those was cool with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was your thrill moment.
My thrill moment was that ride, the twilight of my career, from about 35 all the way to the end of my career. That ride right there
You were winning
between
all these
2010
championships,
into 2011 to 2011 to 2013. That was just incredible for me.
Yeah. That was, so every day was.
That
a
was
thrill.
that was like sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I know what you mean, but
with multiple partners, or what's that like?
I mean,
Let's
the
go.
question was
Let's go.
going
Let's
so
go.
well.
What?
Yeah, you just ruined it. You ruined it. You absolutely ruined it.
I was just a little surprised. Go ahead, Don.
Go ahead, man.
Was your thrill moment in the PBA?
Of course, we can always say championships, but for me, memorable there were times entering the PBA, my first game, and then my last game.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
First game and your
First
last
game
game.
and last game. You remember those things. Those ones stuck by me. Of course, we can always say championships. They'll always be there. Always fun times. But then you always remember. You always remember the times, the first time that you got into the PBA. You remember your last game as well. For me.
What happened your last game in Star?
It's bittersweet.
I mean, did you know?
It's
did you
bittersweet.
know that this was it before
That was
walking
my
into the
next
locker room?
question, actually. But-
No,
yeah.
when the buzzer sounded, I knew that it was there was like a monkey off my back, and I knew I was gonna go
So
somewhere
you knew
else.
you were retiring right after that game.
I felt it already. I
No,
felt
but you didn't think, all right, it's my last game. I'm done after this. Did that happen to you?
No, it didn't happen.
So it was a gradual process?
No,
and
for
you
me, well, listen.
Oh, so right after the game, the buzzer sounded, and we got eliminated.
Right, right.
That was the end of our season. So we didn't reach the semis. We entered the quarterfinals, got a little bit of bonus, but after that, it was because that time the team was on the decline already. They just won a Grand Slam.
They went on that
This was the
huge
Star
run,
Hot
yeah.
Shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're on the decline already, and so from there, I already felt like, hey, you know, my career has gone full circle. I started out with Tim Cohn, I left with Tim Cohn.
Yeah, that
That was so beautiful.
That's true.
because that's the same thing that happened with me.
Oh, you ended with Norman?
Yeah,
Right.
Started with Coach Norman. I ended with Coach Norman.
interesting.
For me, I was in practice, and by this time, my back was so screwed up already. I was in so much pain. I was taking like 3 Arcacia, that powerful pain medication,
Wow, yeah.
and I was, bleeding already, and
Bleeding?
too much
Yeah, I didn't
information.
know about the bleeding part.
Wait,
there.
you're
Yeah.
bleeding because of
Because
the
of the
medicines, or was
medicines.
it something else?
Because I'm trying to be serious here. I listened to your story.
All right.
So
We gotta wrap
we got to wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause-
finish
No,
your
no,
point,
okay. Can I go, Sid? Damn it. All right, so, all right. So no, for me, I'm sitting there on the bench, watching. We're scrimmaging between. It was still talking text. Coach Norman was a coach already, blue and white, right? And I just remember him calling me off the bench. Coach Joe Chico called me off the bench. He said, "All right, I want you to guard Renadell." So I could not guard Renadell. I could not.
Just run circles around you
He's
or
running
something?
circles around me. I was lost, and I'm like, "What?" I was 39 already, and I got really good position on Renadell, and I said, "All right, I got him now. We're gonna go for the rebound. I got this rebound." I jump up as high as I can, and I see this long arm come over my head. Boom, catches the ball, and then Joe Chico subs me out. He goes, "Just go ahead and rest, Ollie. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, and then that voice, right? That voice
There is
goes
a
off.
voice.
Yes,
There
that
is a
voice goes
voice.
off. It's in your head, but you know it's real when you feel it right here and in your gut.
Yeah.
You feel this. It says it's over. It's Ali. It's time to
A
walk away.
voice told you
Yes,
it's over.
yes.
There's a voice.
There's
Yes,
a
all
voice,
professional
yeah,
athletes
yeah,
will admit that. There's
yeah.
a voice.
There's a voice, and like when you feel it. It's one thing when you have an injury and you have doubts in your brain, right, in your head, but you still got fire here.
Yeah.
There was no more fire. It was gone. There was no more fuel.
Pido
Nothing.
Arancho
It was
extinguished
gone.
it
It was
'cause he
gone.
was
It
the
was
fireman,
completely.
right?
I'm not talking. I mean, no offense to Peter, but I'm just saying it was gone, and there was just nothing there. There was nothing to give anymore,
Right.
and that's when I knew that.
All right,
it was it,
let's
yeah.
close this episode, and we're getting the finger already. You know, when you get the finger on the show, that means it's time to eat. Your wish for the PBA, Don, you've had a roller coaster relationship with the league.
I
Now
didn't.
you've come full circle. Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, no idea. What are you talking about?
And now you've come full circle. You're a broadcaster now in the league. So, what is your wish for the PBA?
I wish for more expansion teams. I wish for more a productive, of course, more productive seasons. The PBA has been based on the fans that we have, and our fans. The PBA truly loves the fans. So for everything else that the PBA has done, for everything else that the fans have done for the PBA, we thank you, and we wish the PBA the very best. More years, or more solid years, the foundation for them. Of course, increase in our fan base. We want to go global, PBA global. We already global when it comes to media, but we just wish them more in terms of having more international players and be on the global stage for the PBA. That is my wish for them.
Hey, that's pretty solid stuff. How about?
Don't copy me.
That's kind of hard to copy though. That's long.
It's like when
They steal everything?
it's like when someone like Reza Diaz or something like that interviews a player of the game. It's like, do you have anything you want to say to your fans? That's what that sounded like, you know. Anyways, but
Okay.
no, look. I just want to see really good basketball. There's so many great young stars I mean, you got these super rookies like Matthew Wright, Gio Halalon. Like, I want to see more of that. And it's just great to see, especially social media, Instagram. Like, I look at some of these guys, I follow some of these guys that are younger than I am, and I'm like, 50,000, 100,000 followers. And that's just how huge this, and not just from the Philippines, but all global. You got fans from all over the world, especially the United States, checking out the PBA. When I go back to the States, they ask, hey, what's it like to play in the PBA? You know, and so you got a lot of, like, I remember I've been recruiting, and I asked at least about 8 Filipino American players with their parents right behind them. And I said, honestly, I know we're talking about college right now, but who eventually wants to play in the PBA? They all want to raise their hands. Yeah. Right. So this is where the sport has gone, and I'm proud of that. So I'm really proud of that.
That's good, Ali. I like that.
Yeah.
You said global like I did.
Yeah, with your socks.
Well, my wish for the PBA is just to stay the course right now. It's been afloat for 42 years. There have been a lot of rough seas that have threatened to actually either close the league or plunge it into some kind of trouble, but the PBA has remained steadfast. And for that, I am thankful for the new leadership and the PBA and for the fans for continuing to support the league that we all love.
Happy birthday.
This is the 42nd anniversary of the PBA. Happy birthday to the PBA. And that's going to do it for this very interesting edition of Post Play with our gentleman right here, Don Aliado, Ali Peak. My name is Noel Zarate. We'll see you next week. Thank you.